Hello, sports fans. Larry Allen here at the KGAS studios alongside Scott Surratt, the head football coach and athletic director of the Carthage Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, three-peat champions in Class 3A Division II, which opened the 2011 season with the Jacksonville Indians rolling into town tonight to face the Bulldogs. Kickoff is slated at 7:30. Okay, Coach, we've got a lot to talk about. No game last week to talk about, although we will mention the scrimmages a little bit later. But I'd first like to start with the freshmen. And from what you've seen in scrimmage, I know you don't get to maybe see much of that, or what you've heard from your coaches. Tell us how they're doing, the freshmen.
Well, they're doing well. We've had a couple injuries there. I know we got a really good wideout that's out with a hamstring, and he hadn't scrimmaged either time, and we had a couple more. So they'll get better when those guys get back. But we have around 55 or 60. So we got plenty of numbers. We've scrimmaged two really good freshman teams. Kilgore's, they said it's the best group maybe ever that come through there. And then White House had a good group. And then, we hadn't been prepared for all that wide open stuff. So I think they'll be fine.
All right, the JV, and I'm glad you mentioned the number on the freshman squad. Mention the numbers for the JV, and of course there, you've got Mario McCain, that's up with the varsity, and also Blake Bogenschutz. JV, of course, primarily is a sophomore team. For the fans that do not know, there are a few juniors on there. All right, what have you seen from them so far?
They play. They're very tough. I mean, they will hit you, and they're very tough. And then we like you said, it's primarily a sophomore team, and we do have Blake up, and then we have Tevin, the tailback, up, and T. Goree, the wideout, up. So we've kind of got their skill kids, and then we got another young man that's going to play up this Dylan Hussar at tackle. So it's a good group, and we're expecting big things out of those guys.
All right, let's go now to the varsity, and of course you've had the two scrimmages you mentioned against Kilgore and White House. I saw some of the Kilgore, did not make it over to White House. Let's start with your defense first. Where do we stand if you were comparing where they stand right now to where you were a year ago going into Jacksonville?
Well, I think we're ahead of a year ago defensively. We did lose some key guys, but we had six guys back, and I think our back seven's really good, linebackers, and our secondary is going to be really good before it's over. And then we had to replace three front guys with Josh Hamilton moving to Chapel Hill, and then two to graduation. So that's the group that got hit hardest with graduation, but we're really pleased with we moved Mario McCain over at defensive tackle. And then we have Adams at defensive end, and at nose guard we have Kalen Ware. So he's played very well the first two scrimmages. So we've been pleased. Of course, you got the leader of the group, Dakota Hart, started every game last year. He's a special player for us, and he's going to play some tight end in different packages too. We got to have him on the field a little more.
You got your linebackers back. At least a couple of them. I would assume that has to be one of the team strengths.
Well, Justin Williams he was our leading tackler last year, and he played really good against White House, and then you got Trent Jackson at Mike. It had to play a bunch last year, and he started 3 or 4 games when Kendall was out and played well for us, and he's bigger, faster, and stronger now, and he's played very well both games.
When I have fans talk to me about this year, the first thing they ask about is who's going to be quarterback, and a big a change there this year with an unfortunate injury to Hunter Walden. And I tell you what, my heart goes out to that young man, because here he's been sitting and waiting his turn for 2 years behind Anthony Morgan, and his turn finally comes up to be the starter, and he's out with an injury. What happened to him, and is it correct that he is out for the year?
He is out for the year. It was his knee came out again. It's like the 12th time it's come out, and he's kind of laying on the side of his leg, and we'd have to severely tape it up for him to go, and then he's playing one-legged, and the doctor recommended it for him to sit out if he's going to be able to walk later in life and things, or have surgery. And well, if he had surgery, he wouldn't be able to play baseball either. So he decided that he's going to move on and play baseball and do what the doctor tells him to do. So, and he made the right decision. He is playing very well. It was he was at number 1 at quarterback, and then he was just did it on a drop back, didn't get it hit or nothing on a screen pass, and it just kind of came out on him, and then he missed 3 practices in a row. He tried to go against Kilgore, but he was kind of a sitting duck back there, and then he went to the doctor, and that's what he told him.
Now, from what you say, I assume rehab, he is going to try for baseball.
He's going to be able to, it's his right leg, so, he's a pitcher, and it shouldn't affect him that much pitching unless he's running to first. But I think you can tape it up and put a brace on it, and I think he'll be fine pitching.
All right, let's talk now about your offense. Obviously, and let's go immediately to the replacements for Hunter at quarterback. You're alternating 2. Tell us their names and their strengths.
Jalen Allison, he's a junior. He knows the system, and he's played really well in the scrimmages. And then you have Blake Bogenschutz, which is super talented, and he's sophomore, and he's learning, going to make some mistakes, but has played very, very well the other night against White House. Made some big plays for us. Scored one with his feet. Running, and then I think the second play of the scrimmage, he threw a deep ball to Deep Hope for a 50-yard gain or so. And so he's played very well, and he's starting to get more comfortable. And like I said, Jalen's came in and played well also. So I foresee both of them getting some time. Blake's going to get the first shot at it, and the job's his. And if he's not playing so well, then we're going to put Jalen in there.
But you don't have plans right now to alternate them 1-2 series, the other 2 series. You're going to go with a starter.
We're going to go with a starter. I've never been a rotation guy. We had the same thing with Cy Blackshear and Austin Smith, and it was very close going in, and then I let Cy work it out. I'm not going to say I don't want those quarterbacks looking over their shoulder and say, well, every time I mess up, I'm coming out. But if it's a continual deal, we will get them out and let the other guy have his shot for sure.
Now on the offensive line, you've got big Greg Brantley back, and also Mario. Some holes to fill. Other than that, how's that line looking?
Well, we've got a long ways to go, being honest. Just because it's so hard for those guys to get their timing together and peak together and get and mesh together. And because we do a lot of zone blocking, we do a lot of different protection schemes, and it's all those guys trusting each other and things, and it's about experience. Last year's group, same thing. We had to replace 4 of them last year, and we wasn't very good early, just because of those things I'm talking about. And this year we had to replace 4, but we have a new center. We have new guard. Actually, we had to replace 3 because Mario's going to play. But we got to give Mario some breaks because he needs to play every snap on defense. So we really, a lot of times, we're having to play 4 new guys in there. But they're coming on. We've had our best week this week, especially yesterday. So we had a very good walkthrough this morning, and so we'll see. But it's tough on those new guys up there offensive front, as many things as we do.
And I want to ask you about the negotiations that go on between coaches. Obviously, Mario was strictly offense last year. Now he's going to play some on defense. How's those negotiations come along there with you talking to Eric Robinson and Darren Preston, your defensive coordinators, about where Mario's going to play?
Well, the final decision obviously is mine, but and I told those guys he needed, before he even started, I said he needs to be an every down defensive player, and we'll try to rest him on offense. But we do have some holes in the offensive line right now, so he's had to play a little bit more in the scrimmages than we want him to, which is a bad thing but a good thing. He's gotten better shape doing it, and he played a lot better against White House than he did Kilgore. We had to rest him a bunch against Kilgore. And with a young, inexperienced quarterback, we need to protect him as much as we can also. So he's going to be on the field a bunch. But, the communication between myself and our defensive coordinators is just, I'll make the final decision on each one of them. They do lobby for him every snap, and we want him to play every snap. But whatever's going to help the team is what we're going to do.
Now, what characteristics does Mario have that would make you say he needs to be out there every play defensively? Why is he well suited for defense?
Well, he's so fast, quick, and strong, and those 3 things. He is one of the strongest guys we got, if not the strongest. And then he runs very, very well, and he's very physical. So he's a defensive player. There's no doubt about it. But he's a heck of an offensive lineman too. So we got to have big things out of him both sides.
All right, let's talk about the Jacksonville Indians. Ryan Black,